I was really encouraged to see that in other states the conversation has finally moved from beyond the the squabbling of budgets, and again about how to maximize student success, how to develop more undergraduate research going on their campuses, and how to rethink our educational delivery processes and to continue to engage in future building. So what made these great conversations in these states that were represented at this conference occur? Well, it was really their stabilizing their revenue sources. So we have to be able to give campuses enough of a firm foundation for which they can plan beyond preparing for the next budget cut. So in order for us to get there, I hope we will double our efforts to communicate the need for additional support for higher education from a multitude of sources, whether it be state or tuition and fees. But I am pleased, even with our budget cuts in this state, there's some great things. And one of them was this approval of Brad O'Hara's, I guess, last big approval, which is the multiple joint organizational leadership degree that they're producing with the UL system. And to me, it's something that also validates the way that curriculum's built. It has a lot of liberal arts components in it. And I know that if you actually go and talk to business and industry about what they want in their workers, it's those critical thinking skills that that type of experience has. And I'm excited that they've been able to put it together in a way that really gets it out to everyone and get folks in it. Because, back in the past, for millenniums in higher ed, we've been talking about the notion that humans need to make connections to try to figure out how things are working and not working and how to make things be improved. And Plato really said, in his book, The Republic, that all of us had to read, right, back in the day, but he said, until political power and philosophy entirely coincide, cities will have no rest from evil, nor, I think, will the human race. So, when you think about the ideals of America, it's only then when we started educating just regular folks in Thomas Jefferson's America. The colonial America changed, and it talked about access and bringing access to folks. And he said whenever people were well-informed, they can be trusted with their own government. Well-informed citizens who can think on their own, who can collaborate, who can cut through the rhetoric, who can articulate their views, are not easily controlled by tyrants or autocrats. So in America, everyone has a voice. Education must prepare students not only for a job, but for the role of citizen. And I think that these type of initiatives where we're going out and going where the people are going to help us with that. And it's really important today because as you go on the internet, you get everybody's views, right? We get a blog and somebody says something, we get thousands of internets. They had the Buffett rule had 3.2 million hits when you go on the internet to get an opinion on that. 3.2 million people having opinions on it. And it takes a critical higher education view to sort of rummage through that. And in fact, Abraham Lincoln once said, quotes on the internet are not always accurate. Of course, I got that off of the internet. So I think it is real important for us to understand that the liberal art component that we try to put in all our programs is important. Workers and businesses have said that's what was lacking. They did a survey recently. 89% of the businesses surveyed said the most thing that was missing was effectively communicating orally and in writing. And then the second most needed thing was critical thinking and analytical reasoning. And I think that's what we've always heard from our employers. And we just need to make sure that that connection is out there, that we actually produce the students that have that capability. I look forward for us to go beyond just having to try to make sure that our campuses have enough to maintain and keep the doors open, and again have deeper conversations about how to make our students be successful and help Louisiana bring their successes forward. Thank you. Today was our big day to make the decisions on which institutions passed the GRAD Act, and the good news is everybody did. We had two institutions that, we have one that didn't make it the criteria and another that's on an appeal, but overall higher ed stepped up to the plate and really did the things they had to do on their campus to get the ability to have greater tuition and additional state funding. We have two institutions. LSU Eunice didn't make the GRAD Act targets. We're already working with them about identifying strategies to help them become more successful, and I think that'll work out well. The second is the Southern University Shreveport is on appeal for their grad act, and we'll work with that, go through the appeal process, and then if they don't make that, we'll work with them to make sure that we can help them become successful in the future. What we saw is the institutions really keeping their eye on the prize. The whole thing about the grad act is to make students become more successful, helping them increase their retention rates, graduation rates, have more students come back to college and graduate. So all those metrics showed a tick up for all those institutions, and I think that's real positive for the future of Louisiana. Well, I think looking forward, we've just got to make sure that with the budget cuts that we have, that the institutions keep in mind that these targets are important in their ability to maintain financial stability at their institutions.